He's funny as hell. He's 17.
Good morning, Philadelphia. This just in. Police are still searching for the suspects in multiple murders that have taken place over the past week.
Actually look decent.
People
That's the
are
great
being
part.
asked to stay vigilant and stay
decent little
safe.
city. I never seen downtown Philly.
Streets,
It look
there are
decent.
no heroes or villains, only actions and reactions. The gang life is sadly a dead end, and no matter how fearsome you are, no matter how many people you've killed, it only takes the squeezing of a trigger to end your story too. Noah Scurry, aka the Philly Joker, had become a formidable force in the Philly streets in just a matter of months. The pain that he felt from losing so many of his teenage friends to the gun was barely eased by all the killings that he himself had done. Perhaps he was too young and naive to think that he would suffer the same consequences too, but the reality was
he'd
that those
been
people
catching
that he had
bodies.
hurt, just like he had been hurt himself, wanted their own revenge, and hiding behind his mask, his family, or his facade as a straight-A student athlete would ultimately not be enough to save his life. And in the end,
I ain't know he was catching bodies though. I'm gonna be honest with you. I thought this was just like some, like him pretending type shit, and like he was. I know he had something to do with cheese, but I know it's like I thought it was him pretending he was on the hit. That was his first hit, and then he kind of like I ain't know he just been out here doing hits. Wild hooping is insane.
end, like those friends or enemies of his that lost their lives so young, his life too would be cut short.
It ain't even like you high level hooping, bro. Like you damn near finna go to college off hooping, and then you still in the streets. Where did the gang say, yeah, I want you to be drilling and having the Joker mask making? Why?
In the most poetically tragic way. On the 14th of January 2025, Noah Scurry would wake up early to head to the Samuel Fells High School, exiting his family's house located on Aurora Street near Roosevelt Boulevard around 7:15 a.m. But as Noah stepped outside to the back alley of his family's row home, ready to get into a car with his mother who was supposed to drive him to school, unknown assailants were ready and waiting for him. They would immediately jump out from a white Jeep SUV and begin shooting at Noah, hitting him numerous times before fleeing the scene in their car. And of course, as tends to happen too often these days, someone would immediately begin filming the aftermath, showing Noah's mother, distraught, hugging her son's lifeless body, covered in blood and bullet holes. Soon after, the police and medics would arrive to the scene, and Noah...
If nothing else makes you want to get out of the streets, bro, that right there should make you want to get out of the streets, bro. You know, his mama hugging his lifeless body, bloody, knowing she gone. Seeing him, probably got face shot, all type of shit. Come on, man, don't. At least do it for your peoples. Don't do that.
Noah would be taken to the Einstein Medical Center, where he was unfortunately pronounced dead only minutes later, having suffered several gunshot wounds to his chest and abdomen. The local media would jump on the story almost immediately, highlighting Noah's status as a star athlete and an exceptional student, at this point completely unaware of his murderous alter ego.
A teenager was shot and killed steps from his home. This is the 5,000 block of Rohrer Street, about 8 this morning, and we're learning the 17-year-old was on his way to school. The teenager was with his mother at the time, and Kelly, what else are you learning from this tragedy?
Well, Jason, police and school officials are identifying the 17-year-old tonight as Noah Scurry. He's described here at the high school as a great student and athlete. His family, understandably, was not ready to talk today. Police say they do believe he was targeted, but have not said why. Sophomore Muhammad Al-Faqi leaves the solemn day of school at Samuel Fells High School. All after-school activities canceled today and men's basketball games canceled this week due to the killing of a teammate and senior, identified by police and district officials as 17-year-old Noah Scurry. Police say it all happened in an alleyway behind Rohr Street, just off Roosevelt
Look at that. Like,
Boulevard.
it's no gangways, it's no cuts, it's no nothing. It's like straight, like Philly and Baltimore shit is literally made for you to get clapped. Because where am I supposed to go in that situation? I walk outside and they outside waiting for me. At least in Chicago, I can run through a gangway, a cut, a couple back alleys, shit. You know, you got a chance to get in the way, hop some fences.
7 this morning. At least 20 shots fired in what they believe was a targeted attack. There was a backpack left in the middle of the crime scene, surrounded by shell casings, and tires of nearby parked cars blown out. A letter sent home to parents from the school principal said Scurry scored the highest among the Fells community on the SAT tests.
The student who was killed was exceptional. No problems from him whatsoever, according to the principal and other staff members. As you might imagine, they are distraught.
The following day, the story would receive a major update as the police would recover the assailant's getaway car, and the news would also show security camera footage of the vehicle at the murder scene. The police would also give out information that Noah had indeed been shot before his murder during the May 2023 incident that took the life of an older man.
Well, he been on his ass.
Breaking right now, chilling video just obtained by CBS News Philadelphia showing the exact moment a gunman ambushes a local teenager on his way to school right in...
I ain't gonna lie, bro. Yo, what up, gang, 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 gang. I ain't gonna lie though, bro. Like, so you telling me you almost got hit in the back of the crib, front of the crib, wherever, at this exact same crib. Then you also, years later, were still living in this crib, going to the same high school. I would have told my mother I'm never coming outside again until we moved. I'm gonna force your hand. I promise you. I'm not going to school. I'm not going outside. I'm not doing nothing. I'm not even going to the door to get DoorDash. Shit's not happening. That's what I would have did. And you, especially you in this street shit. Yeah, we gotta move. I'm hoping.
Front of his frantic mother.
Good afternoon, Siapa. Police are one step closer into figuring out who is responsible. They say they believe they found a vehicle that may be connected to the shooting. Police say the 17-year-old Fells High School senior was shot multiple times as he was getting into a car on his way to school with his mom. Investigators say he was rushed to Albert Einstein Medical Center, where he later died. The video also shows a white Jeep Grand Cherokee take off from the alley behind the teen's home on Rohrer Street early Tuesday morning, right after the shooting. Police say they located the Jeep that matches the description of the car they were looking for in Northeast Philadelphia. Chopper 3 captured it in a police impound lot. And now CBS News Philadelphia has learned that Scurry has been shot before. Sources tell us back in May of 2023, he was one of 3 15-year-olds shot on Mulberry Street in Frankfurt. A 66-year-old was killed. That crime is unsolved.
At this point, Noah's murder seemed completely incomprehensible to most. After all, if star athletes and students like Noah can become the victims of gun violence, then nobody is safe. But meanwhile, the undefeated online detectives were uncovering the dark side of Noah's past. First, posts connecting him to the Joker OTV alias would appear already on the day of his murder. Some of these would even show old clips of Noah beating up his enemies, and soon the mainstream media too would be forced to change the narrative, backtracking on the angle they'd taken in earlier reporting to cover this new, shocking twist in the story.
That shit crazy.
Tonight, law enforcement sources confirmed there was a rap video uploaded to social media the day before 17-year-old Noah Scurry was shot to death behind his home in front of his mother, who was getting ready to take him to Samuel Fells High School. A screenshot of the video shows a man in a Joker mask, at times appearing to hold a gun. Sources tell Fox 29 they believe that to be Scurry. In the video, he dances along other individuals who are also holding and showing off guns throughout it.
The storyline would completely change once the duality of Noah's life was exposed as both a star athlete who excelled in school, whilst also being a bloodthirsty, mask-wearing drill rapper, and somebody who had been killed less than 24 hours after officially dropping his first diss song towards his ops. All of this made the story go viral, with seemingly every hip-hop news outlet and YouTuber suddenly covering the story. Most notably, Philly-based YouTuber American Confidential would post an incredibly detailed and well-researched full breakdown about Noah's life and death only 5 days after his murder. The video would interestingly point out how the news got the narrative completely wrong about Noah when they initially reported on him in the context of his excellent academic record.
Family members, friends, and classmates were devastated by the sudden and senseless loss. A GoFundMe campaign launched by his cousin seeks to help cover funeral expenses. In her heartfelt message, she described Noah as a bright, loving young man with a heart full of kindness. Noah, only 17 years old, had such a caring and loving heart, wrote. He would do anything for his family, but most of all, for his siblings. Tributes and condolences have poured in across social media, where friends expressed their grief and shared memories of the teen. Speechless, I love you, one friend posted alongside photos of Noah Scurry. If people like myself and THF Philly weren't around, this would have been the end of the story. By the day of Noah's death, as is all too clear by now, 17-year-old star student athletes aren't just executed in front of their moms for no reason. There's always a story behind it that the news is reluctant to give for political or social reasons. Right. You just got your news from the Philadelphia Inquirer or NBC, then the story is almost always missing context. Due to social media, traditional mainstream media was forced to double back the next day and say, hey, there's a little more to the story here. 30 years ago, this would have never happened, and the story would have been left at that. Right. There was no Instagram to correct the news or YouTube for people like me to make a story with a little more context.
At this point, the story would get even crazier as YouTubers and other online sleuths had begun to tie real-life murder cases to Noah, most notably Fat Dame's murder, which made a lot of sense given how much Noah had dissed him in his music, but also Gilly the King's son, YNG Cheese. This rumor being sparked particularly by Gilly's alleged nephew, who had posted a childhood picture of Cheese not long after Noah's murder, together with a caption saying that Cheese could finally rest in peace now that his killer was also dead. Shockingly, this rumor would seemingly be confirmed later on when Gilly himself would admit that this was who killed his son in an interview where Shannon Sharp, completely unaware, had brought up the tragedy of this supposed model student's sudden murder. And Gilly would later also reveal that the police had actually told him that Noah Scurry had been one of the suspects in Cheese's murder investigation all along.
That's crazy. That's insane.
17-year-old basketball player, straight A student. Am I wrong, Gilly? It used to be like the athletes, they got protected. Right. Nobody touched him. Hey, he good now. He gonna be what we, they're gonna be talking about the block. He from the block, he got out. They protected those guys.
But I ain't gonna lie, if anybody, I think people was talking about how Shannon Sharp should have known, how he baited Gilly. Does Shannon Sharp look like he knows what the hell's going on in the streets? He don't got time to be doing his research on this shit. He goddamn he saw the news clip. He like, damn, 17, he was hooping for real. Same thing I'm thinking. He hooping. What the hell is he in the streets for? And then Gilly had to inform him on what was really going on.
But that's who killed my son.
The 17?
Yeah, the 17-year-old basketball player that just got shot 17 times.
Yes.
That's who killed my son.
Really?
It wasn't for my son. Them blocks is beefing. They going through it. My son just so happened to pull up out there 5 minutes. They come to shoot the block up. My son's not from that block. He don't, you feel what I'm saying? He just so happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. These kids is influenced by all the wrong things.
Right.
To that don't matter. To that once upon a time when I was growing up in the ghetto, I was influenced by. I told you when I was young, we glamorized the person that was getting money.
Yeah.
The hustler. That's why our rap names was like Gotti. Rap games. There was always somebody that was getting some money. Now, it don't be about no money or nothing. They'll kill you about an Instagram post.
Right.
Facts.
You was gonna slide, you ain't slide yet.
Right.
Now I slid. Like, are you serious?
Right.
So,
he ain't lying,
it don't
though.
make no sense.
He ain't lying.
Meanwhile, the youths from rival gangs were celebrating Noah's death, with some of the first diss songs getting posted on social media only a few days after his murder. Like a song from a rapper called Big 9 Millie, who would post a snippet to his new song where he rapped how Noah's killers did what Batman couldn't, before saying how Noah had become the topic of conversation with his Joker antics, but that the joke was now over. Noah's friends, who were rappers on the other hand, were also quick to use the huge media attention around him to their advantage, like the rapper Drench Season, who would drop a song titled Joker, which would receive a mixed reception, as the song didn't actually have a single mention about Noah and was seemingly only named after the Joker to get attention online. But people close to Noah would also seemingly begin to drop all the songs that he had made before he died, with his catalogue quickly growing to a full EP's worth of songs,
was out here
which would
rapping
also
and
include
drilling
features
and like
from other rappers close to him, like Qua 4 and Rel Sosa, with most of these being dark diss songs, like his only officially released song Swing My Door, with Noah aiming his disses towards rival gangs like Fast Break, and specific ops like Mally, aka Jamal Tucker, who had allegedly snitched on his friends. However, there would also be more emotional songs, like the song known as Fours Up, or Patience, featuring Qua 4, which gives a rare glimpse into Noah's more introspective side, giving at least some idea to the listener on what could have possibly driven a good kid like Noah to commit some of the most horrible acts that he had been accused of. All of this despite seemingly coming from a relatively good background and likely having a bright future ahead of him. He would rap how he has seen his friends killed by their own cousins and how he's been betrayed by so many people, before saying how many of his friends are in jail and how his cries for help have been ignored, and how he's been in numerous shootouts with his ops, and most notably how people keep telling him that he's going to be the ticket out of the struggle, but something is telling him that he's going to die before he can get out.
This is messed up because like he really is like torn because he wants to, he know he can make it, his people know he can make it, but it's like once you've been around certain things and done certain things, bro, like that shit changes you for the better or for the worse. Everybody take things differently. So me and you might goddamn get popped at, we run, take cover, bow, duck under a garbage can or something, duck under a car, we get away. I might say, all right, man, I ain't really trying to do this no more, I'm popping out. Phone up might say, goddamn, hell no, they just tried to blick at us, so I'm finna blick back. And that's how it started. You know, like, everybody don't take the same.
At least on some level, Noah knew that the life that he was living was going to end up bad for him, and that if he stuck with the positive things in life like basketball and education, he had a chance of making it big. But clearly, he was so consumed by the losses of so many friends, just like his father had pointed out on Facebook. Ultimately, any kind of vision for a positive future just wasn't enough for Noah to let go of the losses that he'd suffered in the streets. Another matter is of course the enormous influence of drill music culture. This is a somewhat controversial topic, as many academics, journalists, and other pundits like to point out how music could not possibly influence youths to commit violence, even when these same people have often based entire theories and even careers on the claim that mainstream media pretty much controls our every thoughts and actions. Meanwhile, people within the culture are often the first to admit just how powerful drill music is in normalizing violence and influencing the youth. This influence is hardly a problem for somebody using the violent, raw energy of drill music to get an extra set in at the gym, but it's another story completely when that same music is influencing a youngster growing up in an actual war zone, and where the lyrics end up providing meaning to real-life trauma. With this genre even providing a way out of the struggle, if gangsters can turn to artists and use their lived experiences to create music that resonates with others that have been through the same thing. But in a lot of cases, drill music has become the marching music to hype up those listening to continue waging the war in the name of their dead friends. Now, it's certainly not the music's fault, but drill music is an
This nigga really wearing a Joker. Now, Trap Lord Ross, you know you wrong, bro. I can't even watch no more. I don't know how I didn't peep that before. Maybe I thought it was like a filter or something. You really just got up here and painted your face and put on this.